What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going over season 3 of Psycho-Pass, which I finished watching about a week ago. In this video I'm going over what to watch before watching Psycho-Pass season 3, if Psycho-Pass was good, if it's comparable to season 1 or any of the movies, what happened after, and overall whether or not you should watch it. So if you enjoy, subscribe. If you're new here, subscribe. And now let's go. So before you watch Psycho-Pass season 3, you need to know this. So the story does take place after Psycho-Pass season 1, Psycho-Pass season 2, and Psycho-Pass the movie. You need to watch those three before watching Psycho-Pass. And you also can check out, I recommend checking out the Sinners of the Systems movies. They're 3 movies that are about an hour long each, which feature various events in different parts in the Psycho-Pass universe, with movie 1 taking place in the past. As a whole, the 3 movies aren't that good. The third one's pretty good, but I'll go over which ones you should watch. So the first movie takes place in the past, as I just said. It's not really relevant to Psycho-Pass season 3, so if you want you can skip the first movie. Movie 2 takes place after the events in the Psycho-Pass movie, so which comes after Psycho-Pass season 2, so you can watch that, get some idea or some relevance to Psycho-Pass season 3 with one character. But the main one you need to watch to understand most aspects of Psycho-Pass season 3 is the third case in Sinners of the Systems movie. It features some elements that come up in Psycho-Pass season 3 that you need to be aware of, and it's the best one as well. It's pretty entertaining, has a best boy, and yeah, we gotta just watch that. Psycho-Pass season 3 featured 8 episodes, and each episode was like 43 minutes long, so it's like a 16 episode series pretty much, but just longer episodes of 8. As a whole, I have to say it wasn't as good as season 1, but while saying that, season 1 was like top tier anime. Not many anime can get as good as season 1, but I have to say, next to season 1, it is probably the next best adaptation. So yep, the movies aren't that bad, but season 2 people consider it a letdown. I didn't mind it myself, but I'll fairly say that Psycho-Pass season 3 was better than season 2, and it had moments that were close to season 1, but just the revenge rivalry between some characters in season 1 were just too top tier to ignore that. But Psycho-Pass season 3 as a whole was good. Some overlapping characters, but don't expect the same cast from season 1. We follow 2 new inspectors that haven't been seen before in any of the movies or any of that. They're the 2 main characters. We follow them. We do have appearances of Akane throughout the story, but she is not relevant at all. She has some moments where we get some information that's pretty relevant to the 2 new characters, but as a whole she has like less than 5 minutes of screen time the whole series. But yeah, she is pretty much, her involvement in the series is based off what happens in some of the movies and some of the season 2 and so you needed to be able to watch them to understand why Akane is where she is. Kogami is featured in the film, which is pretty top tier. He's not like the main character, but he has a pretty decent amount of screen time. When he first got shown in like episode 3 or something, pretty much the most hype moment in the series. The scene consists of pretty much 2 enforcers who are part of the new inspectors team. One of the inspectors tries to attack Ginoza and then pretty much gets taken down, and then 2 enforcers end up attacking Kogami because they thought they were like enemies at first. They attack him with some intense music, and Kogami just pretty much bodies both of them, can't stand a chance against his greatness. That's like probably my favorite scene in the whole series. Just the music, had the chills while watching it. Kogami greatness. He didn't do much in the series, not like he was a main character. He only had like maybe, I want to say 30 minutes of screen time. Not even 30 minutes, probably 20 minutes of screen time for the whole 8 episodes or 40 minutes episodes. So yep, we had some other characters that were overlapping, but a lot of new characters that we haven't seen before. Season 2 characters returning that were part of the enforcing group, some new enforcers, and yep. The overall plot of the story mainly consisted of the first part is the immigration issues with people from various countries or third world countries coming to Japan for aid or to move there and live there, with one of the specters being Russian, so he's a foreigner, and some like racial ideology like impacts where the Japanese in the show feel that they're superior and they don't want immigrants coming into their country to corrupt their perfect society with the civil system. That's one main aspect of the story with the immigrants. And yeah, another case or main aspect that went throughout the whole series was a election, which was electing a new, I don't believe it was a prime minister, but it was like a head person in a government. There was an election scheme with AI and stuff and people trying to assassinate people, and that linked to the immigrants this whole issue throughout the whole series. There was that. But the main thing that was the most interesting is a separate entity to Sybil, which is known as like, I think it was Fox or something Fox, I forgot what it was called, but a separate entity to the Sybil system, which run by higher up people who control a large majority of what goes on in society. We got more of that near the end of, or the second half of Psycho-Pass season 3, and that part was probably the best. We had some like cult getting controlled, some weapons being created to start a war and all that. Issues I had with it was the inspector's ability seems to be a bit unrealistic and over the top and extreme. With the main character, I'll put him on screen now, he has the ability to like pretty much listen to this music, and he's able to look into the past in crime scenes to work out what happens. It does affect his true, which increases his risk of being a criminal. But the thing is, we learn later that doesn't matter, because he is someone that is asystematic to the Sybil system, meaning his true will always be considered 0. That's what we learned at the end of the series, which is a pretty shocking and intense moment, but not really much of a spoiler. You can probably get the understanding of that with that whole ability. The other inspector, he's alright. I don't mind him. He's probably more entertaining to watch. And also with the other inspector, he's able to do like some crazy movements where he's like jumping from building to building, doing like crazy jumps and stuff. And yeah, it's a bit unrealistic at times, but it's still enjoyable to watch. Has some pretty interesting fights with that aspect. The villains throughout the show, apart from the main entity that was going or opposite to the Sybil system, weren't very good. They were mostly just side peasant characters for the most part, and I only got into a lot of really strong villain-esque stuff near the end of the season. It's also good to note that a movie has already been announced that's going to continue the Psycho-Pass season 3, or the events after the end of season 3, as the story didn't end with a conclusion with the whole entity going against the Sybil system. We didn't see the Sybil system at all the brains this time, so yeah, we didn't see all the brains, which is a bit of a surprise. That's a rarity. You normally see the Sybil system at least once or twice, but I believe in the movie it will involve, or the next movie will involve, pretty much the inspectors taking down the entity thing, and then it will probably involve them realizing or understanding what Sybil is, or it may extend longer to even a 4th season. I hope it does, because I really enjoyed this season. The side characters as a whole, they were okay for the most part, but definitely the highlights of the whole series character wise were the 2 inspectors. None of the villains are really that strong. We had some there and there, just average, nothing compared to Makishima in season 1, not even close that way. The animation was strong the whole season. It was handled by Production IG, which is pretty well received studio, and they release some well animated shows. Same with Psycho-Pass season 3, is pretty strong, nothing to question about it. The genres of season 3 included action, police, psychological, and sci-fi, similar to the other seasons. The source, like always, was original, and the rating was 17+. Yep, the name of the group who was going against the Sybil system was Bitfrost, which was pretty much observing Japan in the shadows, and it becomes somewhat interested in the 2 new inspectors. The new enforcers we see, which was 2 new guys, they were okay. They had some interesting concepts with some villainous or some opposing groups throughout the series where they're related to them, but as a whole they were just pretty mindless at times. Some of them had like connections, but as a whole they were nothing compared to like season 1 inspectors or even season 2. We did have some season 2 inspectors still hanging around that didn't die. The opening and ending, like always, for Psycho-Pass was as strong as ever. I have to give it to Psycho-Pass. The movies are always, or not the movies, the opening and endings are always top tier and greatness. Same with this. They weren't that long as usual. They were pretty short intros, so yep, gotta have that. For a rating, I would probably give it maybe a 7.9 to maybe an 8. On my anime list, the overall rating is a 7.7, which is pretty low compared to season 1, which is like, I believe, almost in the 9s. So yeah, I think it's strong. The next movie, Psycho-Pass 3 movie, is called, what is it called? The First Inspector. That's what the movie is called. It's a sequel to season 3 of Psycho-Pass. It's going to air in 2020, so this year, so get hyped for that. What character is going to feature? It's going to feature the same characters. Surely Akane gets some hype or some emphasis in the story. Same with Kogani. I hope he's showing a little bit a bit more. Yep, so got the movie. Is there a synopsis? There's no information. This just companion movie to Psycho-Pass season 3. So yep, there's that. As a whole, I recommend, if you're a fan of Psycho-Pass and you've watched at least season 1 and season 2, I recommend checking it out. If it's much better than season 2. If you haven't seen the movies, like I said, you need to watch the Psycho-Pass movie and at least the last Symbols of the System movie to understand some aspects, especially with Kogani and their group and what's going on throughout the season involving them. That's what it's covered in Psycho-Pass Symbols of the System Case 3 movie, which is pretty much Kogani as the main character. If you're new here or enjoyed the video, subscribe, and that's it guys. Peace.